So students, next concept after dealing with the definitions of currents is, next is potential difference, okay? Potential difference or difference in potential. This potential difference is also called as voltage, okay? Potential difference is also called as voltage. Now, if at all a current has to flow, we say that the current flows from one end of the conductor to another end. It will not flow simply, okay? If at all, if there is potential difference between those two ends, okay? Now this is a conductor, point A, point B. If there is potential difference between these two ends, only the current can flow from A to B. Okay, now I can illustrate this with few examples of real life examples. Okay, before going to potential difference, you can see here. You have, now you can see, this is a slide. Okay, this is a slide AC. Okay, now you can see I have placed a metal ball. Okay, this is a metal ball, and this slider or this slide has no friction. Okay, assume that there is no friction to stop this ball. Okay, now this ball is initially at height h1. Okay, now when it reaches this point C, is there any height here? No, at this point there is no height. Height is 0. Whereas here height is maximum. Here height is maximum. Here height is 0. That's why, because of this difference in height, not only that, since the ball is placed at certain height, it is under the influence of gravity, right? Gravity is also there. Gravitational energy or this gravitational potential at this point A is greater, whereas the same gravitational potential at this point C is lesser. Because of this difference in the gravitational potential or because of the difference in heights, the metal ball is able to slide from point A to point C. Right? Same difference. Because of the difference only, the ball is able to move, which means to say that it is moving from point A to point B because of this gravitational potential difference, right? Or because of the height, difference in height also. Not only that, you can also take one more example. Here you have a container 1. Here you have one more container 2, okay? And these both container are given a connection with respect to a tap, okay? There is a tap over here, and from this tap there is connection from tank A to container B. Now this container A is 3/4 of water, or to the maximum extent it is filled with water. Tank A is filled with 3/4 of water. Now tank B is not that much, it is filled with less amount of water, okay? And by comparing tank A and tank B, you can easily find out that the volume of the tank A is more, right? Whereas the volume of the tank B is less, while the volume of the tank B is less. Now, if I unscrew the tap, okay, if I open the tap, you only can tell whether the water will flow from A to B or from B to A. Obviously, the water will flow from A to B. Why? Because the water, the amount of water, here it is greater, right? Here, whereas the volume of the water here is greater, volume of the water here it is lesser. Now, not only that, why the water will flow from this particular tank A to tank B means at this point of the inlet, where the water will move to that side when the tap is opened, okay, at this point pressure is more. Why pressure is more? You can see at this point, since the tap, since this outlet, okay, this pipe is going or which is connecting to tank B, you can see its volume. That volume is less, right? Here volume means what? Area. Both means. So pressure is equal to force by area, right? So at this point pressure is more. Why? Because this volume is nothing but what? Area of cross section. That is less here at this point. So what happens? The water will rush through that particular outlet, okay, and when the tap is unscrewed, okay, when it is open, it will reach the tank B, which means here also there is pressure difference, right? Pressure difference. Because of this pressure difference, the water is able to move from point A to point B. That's why if a ball can move from point A to point B with the difference in gravity, if the water is capable of moving from tank A to tank B with the difference in pressure, similarly, current also will flow from one point of the conductor to another point if there is potential difference or voltage. Okay. So current will flow from one point to another point if there is difference in voltage, or sorry, potential difference. Then what do you mean by potential difference or voltage? Potential difference or voltage is represented by V. Okay, capital V. It is defined as, potential difference or voltage is defined as amount of work done. We will do some work. Okay, amount of work done to move a unit charge. Okay, or some quantity of charge or unit charge. Okay. It is defined as, potential difference is defined as the amount of work done in order to move a unit charge from point A to point B, or from one point of the conductor to another point of the conductor, which means potential difference, you can see here, potential difference is also called as voltage. Okay, it is work done in order to move the charge, work done by the charge. So this is the potential difference, which means here you have the conductor. Okay, point A, point B is the conductor. Now here you want to move the current. Current means what? Rate of flow of charges, right? So this charges, if at all it has to move from point A to point B, what should be there? Potential difference. In order to move that charge from point A to point B, some work should be there, right? Work means what? In order to displace some body, right? In order to move a body to a certain distance. So this is the distance. Now work is done, right? In order to move that charge. So that difference, that is called as potential difference, is work done by the charge. Now this potential difference is represented by V, which is equal to work done is W, and the charge is given or represented by small q. Q represents the charge, V represents the potential difference or voltage, and W is the work done. Okay, now this is the formula for the potential difference. Now work done is measured in joules. Work done is measured in joules. That is, our unit of work done is joules. Then what is the unit of charge? Unit of charge is coulomb. Unit of charge is coulomb. So what is the unit of potential difference? Joules per coulomb. Joules per coulomb. Or simply we use a straightaway unit to measure the potential difference or voltage, which is called as volts. So volts is the SI unit or the standard unit of measurement for the potential difference or the voltage. Potential difference or the voltage is measured in volts. It is defined as the work done in order to move a unit test charge or unit charge from one point of the conductor to another point of the conductor. That is called as potential difference. Now because of this potential difference only, current will flow in the circuit. It is from one end to another end. We were discussing about potential difference. So that potential difference is given by V is equal to work done by moving a charge from one point of the conductor to another point of the conductor. Unit is given by volts. Now, when the potential difference between the two ends happens to be 1 volts, right? Now, potential difference is said to be 1 volt. 1 volt you can either write in words or even you can write like this, 1V. Okay, don't confuse with this V and this V. This is unit, 1 volts. Okay, now when this potential difference is said to be 1 volts, when the left hand side will become 1, when both the numerator and denominator of the right hand side will become 1, right? Which means this potential difference or voltage, see the formula and I just do this with respect to this formula only. The potential difference, that is V, is said to be 1 volt. It is said to be 1 volt when 1 joule of work is done. I repeat, potential difference between the 2 points of the conductor is said to be 1 volt when 1 joule of work is done in order to move a charge of 1 coulomb. Okay, in order to move a charge of 1 coulomb. I repeat, potential difference or voltage is said to be 1 volt when 1 joule of work is done in order to move a charge or a unit charge. Unit means 1. Unit charge of 1 coulomb from one point to another point of a conductor. I can even write like this. 1 volt is equal to 1 joule per 1 coulomb. Okay, if the question is asked, define 1 volt. Define 1 volt or define 1 volt of potential difference. 1 volt or 1 volt of potential difference is defined as the amount of work done, that is 1 joule of work is done in order to move a unit charge of 1 coulomb from one point to another point in a conductor. Okay. Next concept is electric circuit and its components. Now in our daily lives we have been using this word electric circuit, right? See that electric circuit, rig up that electric circuit of home or circuit of an appliance. So we will be using this electric circuit and also the components. Components means the various devices that are present in the electric circuit. Now this electric circuit, okay, this electric circuit comprises of many components within. Now, first of all, the electric circuit consists of wires. To give the connections, wires is very important. Next, what it consists of? Load. Load means from where we are taking the output, from where we are taking the useful, that is the application, useful application from where we are taking, that is load. Load is simply nothing but a resistor or a bulb. Okay, it's a bulb you can take. Then one more word, you should have a power source or power supply. Electric circuit also should have a power supply. Means this power supply is also called as battery or power source. Power source, power supply, mainly battery. Next, it also comprises of switch. It also comprises of switch and various other components. So for a simple circuit, where you can should have basically the wires for giving connection, then you should have the load from where the output is taken, or the what is the purpose of designing the circuit depends on that load, okay, from where we are getting used, okay, the uses. Next is the power supply, which is very important, which is a battery which acts as a source for the circuit. Without battery there is no circuit, right? So power supply or power source, then you will also come across switch. This is simple electric circuit. Electric circuit comprises of all these diagrams. Now, there is also one more, what we call it as circuit diagram. Circuit diagram. Now what do you mean by circuit diagram? Very simple. The schematic layout or the schematic or the layout that we draw, which comprises of all these circuit components. The schematic or the diagram that we draw, which comprises of all these circuit elements, which form the circuit. If you are drawing it properly, neatly, if you are drawing, okay, that becomes the circuit diagram. Okay. Now, these are all the various components which are present, and there are many other components also. Now, we shall take up one by one. What is the symbol of the component and what is its purpose? Okay, what it is called as and what is its purpose in the circuit. Okay. Okay, students, let us see the various symbols of the circuit components, electric circuit components. First one is the load. Load is also called as bulb. I told you bulb. How to represent a bulb? See, this is the symbol of the bulb. Okay, this is bulb. It has two ends, and this is the symbol of the bulb. Next, wire. How will you represent a wire? Just a small straight line. Okay, it is just a straight line which is having two ends from point A to B, where the current will flow. Okay, the wire means the continuity of the circuit. It will take place if you are connecting the wires that connects the various components. So this is the symbol of the wire. Next, wire joint. Wire joint. Wire joint or wire joined, both mean the same. How will you say? Now see here, this is one wire. Okay, this is one wire. Now you have one more wire. Okay, you can see here. There are two more wires here which has to be joined to this main wire. Now here you have to make a circle. Okay, like this. Now this indicates that the wire joint means the two wires are joined to the main wire. That is wire joint. Next, fourth one. Wire crossing or crossing wires. How to show that wire crossing? You can see here it is a main wire. Okay. Now one more wire. Wire crossing means no connection in between. Okay, remember, wire joint means the two wires which are joined to the main wire. So with a dotted circle, okay, thick dotted circle you have to draw. Okay, whereas for wire crossing there is no connection. Now you can see here, you should draw like this. Now this is wire crossing. See here, there is a crossing. Now these two wires, now this is the main wire and these two are so this is wire 1, wire 2 and wire 3. Now see here, this is the main wire. This main wire 1 is not having any connection to wire 2 or wire 3. That's why it is crossing. So this is wire crossing. Fifth one. Electric cell. Electric cell. Electric cell means power source. Okay. Now how to represent this electric cell? You can see here. So draw line, one big line, one big vertical line, leave some space, draw a small vertical line. So this is electric cell. This bigger line is positive terminal, smaller line is negative terminal. So this is electric cell. Okay. Next. After the cell, next is battery or electric battery or battery. Now see here, group of cells forms the battery. Now see here, this is one cell, one more cell, one more cell connected. This forms the battery, right? For this first line positive and for the last small line negative. That's it. Don't write in between. This itself will tell the battery. Now see here, how many cells are connected here? 1, 2, 3. Like this you can have n number of cells connected in series, okay, or parallel, both. So here it is in series. That's why when a group of cells form the battery, and of course it is positive and here it is negative. Next, resistor. Now this is the symbol of the resistor. R. R is the symbol of the resistor. Resistor means every conductor, whether it is copper or aluminium, which is good conductor of electricity, is having some resistance. Okay, without resistance means every conductor should have certain amount of resistance to oppose. Okay, that I will come in later when I take up the resistance. Now this is a symbol of the resistor. Okay. Now next is variable resistor. Variable resistor. Now see here, this is a symbol of variable resistor. This is the symbol of the variable resistor. Means you can vary to any value of the resistor. Okay, here this particular resistor is fixed. Okay, its value is fixed for one value. Say for example 100 ohms, 1 kilo ohm, 10 ohms. Like this value is fixed. Whereas for this variable resistor, it can vary from a smaller value and it can vary to a bigger value. So that's why it is variable resistor. Sorry students, this is not variable resistor. This is not variable resistor. This is called as rheostat. This is called as what? This symbol is called as rheostat. Okay, I'll come to variable resistor now. Now this symbol is called as rheostat. Okay. Next is variable resistor. Variable resistor. Now see here students, this is the symbol of variable resistor. You write a resistor, then show an oblique arrow mark, okay, upwards, that becomes the variable resistor. You can vary this resistor. Here this rheostat is also having, means it is unknown resistance. To a larger value you can find out, okay. This variable resistor means from ohms to kilo ohms to, okay, from ohms to kilo ohms to the higher levels you can just vary the resistances. That it is not fixed, it is variable. Whereas this resistor, it is fixed, okay, whereas this can be varied. Next is plug key. Plug key which is opened. Plug key opened means you have the switch in your home, right? You have the switches in your home. When you put off the switch means what? No current will flow. When you on the switch means current will flow. Similarly, plug key open means switch off condition. Plug key open means it is in switch off condition. So plug key symbol, this is the symbol of the plug key. And plug key which is opened, opened means like this. Okay, just a small brackets, then left side and right side, that is the lines extended. So this is plug key which is opened means no current is flowing in the circuit. Why? Because it is in switch off condition. It is as simple as putting off the switch. Okay, now same plug key closed. Plug key closed means plug key opened means open circuit. Plug key closed means closed circuit. Now see here, plug key closed means what? Here plug key open means switch off. Plug key closed means switch on. Okay, it is in switch on condition. See how the symbol will become? It is like this. Should write the same symbol within those small brackets, write a dot. This is plug key closed. So if you are writing this means current is flowing in the circuit or it is a closed circuit. If you are writing this symbol means there is no current in the circuit or the circuit is open or it is in switch off condition. Understood? Next, moving on to moving on to 13th one. Next is galvanometer. Very important. Galvanometer. Now this galvanometer is represented by a circle. Within the circle you write capital G. So this represents galvanometer. It is having two terminals. Left side usually positive and here it is negative. Now why this galvanometer is used means if at all you use the galvanometer in the circuit, it is used to detect the current. It is used to detect the current in the circuit. Galvanometer is used to detect the current in the circuit. Next, fourth one. You have voltmeter. You have voltmeter. Now see here, this is the symbol of voltmeter. Write a circle. Within the circle you write capital V. Then this is voltmeter. Again it is having positive terminal and negative terminal. Now why voltmeter is used? Voltmeter is used to measure potential difference. Voltmeter is used to measure voltage or potential difference. It is used to measure potential difference or voltage. Voltmeter is a device used to measure potential difference. And remember students, in the circuit, in the circuit, this potential difference or voltage, what I am telling, potential difference or voltage, that is voltmeter used to measure, right? You have to connect this voltmeter, always parallel. Should always connect in parallel to the load, okay? Remember, voltmeter is always connected across the load or it is or should always be connected parallel. Remember. Next device is ammeter. This ammeter is represented by, now this is the symbol of the ammeter. Write a circle, within the circle write A, capital A. Now it is also having positive terminal and negative terminal. Now why ammeter? ammeter is the device which is used to measure electric current. Ammeter is the device used to measure electric current in the circuit. Now, what is voltmeter? Voltmeter is the device used to measure potential difference or voltage in the circuits. Voltmeter is always connected in parallel across the road or parallel to the road, whereas this ammeter, which is used to measure electric current, is always connected in series. This is always connected in series with the load. Series with the load on the bulb. Remember, ammeter is always connected in series with the load, or in series with the circuit, whereas the voltmeter is connected across, or it is connected parallel. So these are the various symbols, and that has to be remembered. So the next, let us draw a simple electric circuit. While we have understood all the circuit components, right? Now let us not go for the bigger circuit. Let us draw a very simple circuit. Simple electrical circuit. Simple electrical circuit. Now this circuit consists of what? First, remember student, in order to draw any circuit, start with the power supply, start with the battery or the power source. Now see here, start with the battery or the power source. Now you can see here, this is the battery. Positive, negative. Now, after drawing the battery, above this battery, draw the bulb. Load, what we call, from where we are taking the output, right? So that is bulb. Now see here, I have drawn the bulb, right? After this, now after drawing these two, connections will become easier. Now we have to connect. Now if at all the current, now see here, from positive terminal, this is positive terminal, negative terminal. So like this I am giving the connection. All these are wired connection. From here it has gone to load. Now we have to measure voltage and we also have to measure the current, right? So in order to measure voltage, what device is used? Voltmeter. Now that voltmeter, how it is connected to this load? This is bulb. This is bulb. How that voltmeter is connected with this bulb? Parallel, right? Voltmeter is always connected parallel. Now see here, parallel means it should be across. Now see here, like this. Now this is voltmeter. How the ammeter is connected to the load? It is in series, right? Now see here, voltmeter is in parallel to the load, whereas ammeter should be connected series. Series means just like the train bogies, how they are connected one after the other, like that. So this is the bulb. To this bulb, you are connecting the ammeter in series, right? This is the ammeter. Now, if you want, you can add switch also. You can add this switch also here. Now this is plug key, right? Now this is in which condition? Open condition. Now no current will flow in the circuit. Why? Because this is open now. Always remember students, current will flow from positive terminal of the battery and it will come back to negative terminal of the battery. Current, that is I. I later I will tell that current will flow from, it will start from positive terminal of the battery, it will flow through the bulb will glow and the circuit has to be completed, right? So it will come back and it will end at negative terminal of the battery. Only when, even if you have switched on this power supply, even if the power supply is on, but you have not switched on or the plug key is open, this is on, this is not on. Now current will not flow. This plug key or switch, it has to be closed or it has to be switched on. How? You have to just write a dot. So this indicates that now the plug key means switch is on. Now switch on the battery will supply the current, right? That will flow through the bulb and the circuit gets completed. Now in order to switch off, what you have to do? Either you can switch off the battery or else you just open the circuit or the plug key in open condition. That's it. No current will flow. Either of the two cases you have to do. One is permanently switch off the battery so that no current will flow. The circuit itself is off, or else even if you are switching on the battery, if you open the plug key, if you keep the plug key or the switch in open condition or when the switch is off, okay, then no current will flow through the circuit. The circuit is said to be open. At this point, the circuit is said to be open. Okay, again if you make the plug key close and if you switch on the battery, the current will flow in the circuit. So this is the simple electric circuit. So move to the next concept, that is resistance. Resistance of a conductor, or it is represented by capital R. Now we have learned the definition of electric current. Rate of flow of charges. Rate of flow of charges through a conductor is called as electric current. I is equal to Q by T. We have also learned about potential difference. What do you mean by potential difference? Potential difference is the amount of work done in order to move a unit charge from one point to another point in a conductor. So unit of potential difference is volts, or unit of voltage is volts, unit of current is ampere. We have seen that, right? Now this next definition, that is resistance, is also associated with those two. Okay. Now this resistance of a conductor is defined as the property. It is defined as the property of the material or the conductor due to which it is the property of the material or the conductor due to which it opposes the flow of charges. It opposes the flow of charge through it. Okay. So resistance is the property of the conductor or the property of the material due to which it opposes the flow of charges through it. Okay, means if you take any conductor, for example, say copper or aluminium, if you have applied the potential difference, then when you have applied the potential difference, the charge should flow from, that is the work has to be done to move a charge from one point to another point, right? The charge is moving means current is flowing. Now simply the charge will not flow. That particular conductor is having the inbuilt property, okay, inherent property to oppose the current or to oppose the charges. Now you can ask me, if it is opposing the charges, will it take the electric current if it is opposing? Yes. Okay, even though it opposes, the conductor will take the controlled amount of electric current. It will take in controlled amount. Okay, of course it will receive the charges, but it will have some opposition. Okay, that opposition is called as resistance. So resistance of a material or a conductor is defined as a property due to which it opposes the flow of charge through it. Now this unit of resistance is ohm. George Simon Ohm, the name of a person. Okay, that ohm is the unit of resistance. That George Simon Ohm has also given a law called as Ohm's law, which I will deal next. Okay. Now the unit of resistance is ohm. You can even write like this ohm, or this is the symbol. Even you can write this. This is also the unit of ohm. You can write OHM, or even you can write this symbol. Now see here, for example, if I give like 20 ohm, this also is correct. This way of writing is also correct. Then even if you write like this is also correct. Or else 50 ohm, this is correct, as well as this is also correct. So unit of resistance is ohms. So moving to the next concept, that is the very popular, what we call it as Ohm's law. Okay, and this Ohm's law is given by George Simon Ohm. George Simon Ohm proposed the Ohm's law, and this Ohm's law gives the relationship between voltage or the potential difference and the current flowing through the circuit or the conductor. Okay. Now what is exactly the Ohm's law? According to Ohm's law, at constant temperature, constant temperature, potential difference or voltage across the 2 points of the conductor is directly proportional to the current flowing through it. It is directly proportional to the current flowing through those 2 points in the conductor. I repeat, according to Ohm's law, current flowing through the conductor or 2 points of the conductor. According to Ohm's law, at constant temperature, the potential difference between any 2 points of a conductor is directly proportional. This is called as proportionality sign. Is directly proportional to the current flowing through the same 2 points of the conductor, which means potential difference is V, directly proportional to electric current is I. Now if I remove this proportionality constant, now if I bring this I to the denominator, V by I, this proportionality sign will go and it will transform to equals and it will become a constant called as K. This K is called constant of proportionality. Now this constant, where K is constant, right? Now this constant of proportionality is what we call it as resistance R. We have seen the definition of resistance, right? So this constant of proportionality is nothing but R, which means to say that V by I is equal to R. V by I is equal to R. So this is first formula. That is V by I is equal to R. Now you can even move further. So V by I is equal to R. Or if you cross multiply, V is equal to I into R. Now this is Ohm's law, first formula. Okay, now in the same formula V means what? Potential. See the left hand side, what you have? V means potential difference or voltage. Write its unit. What is its unit? Volts. Now I have got the expression of the Ohm's law in terms of voltage or potential difference. Now I want in other two terms, that is current and resistance. So just make some arrangements in the main formula so that you will get the other two formula. V is equal to I into R. Therefore I is equal to V by R. I is equal to V. This R will come to the denominator. I is equal to V by R. Here what you have on the left hand side, I means current. What is the unit of the current? Ampere. Okay. Now I have got the formula for potential difference V and electric current I. Next I have to get the formula for resistance, right? Therefore R is equal to V by I. R is equal to V by I. This R is equal to V by I is resistance. Okay, that unit of resistance is ohms. So what are the three forms of Ohm's law? First you should remember this. V is equal to I into R. I is equal to V by R. R is equal to V by I. What is the definition of Ohm's law? At constant temperature, the potential difference between 2 points of a conductor is directly proportional to the current flowing between the 2 points of the conductor. So in the process, V is directly proportional to I. V divided by I when it comes to denominator is equal to some constant K. This proportionality sign goes off and we are introducing a constant K. That constant of proportionality, that is K, is called as resistance. That itself is resistance. That is R. Okay. Now you got in place of K, just substitute R. You get V by I is equal to R. Cross multiply. V is equal to I into R. First formula, that is volts. I is equal to V by R. Ampere. See the left hand side, I. Unit is ampere. R is equal to V by I. Resistance. Unit is ohms. Okay. Now I'll tell you one simple trick in order to remember this formula. Just draw a triangle. Okay, just draw a triangle like this. Now see here, mark like this, 3 divisions. Write this first formula, that is V is equal to I into R. V, I, R you write. Now see how. V is equal to what? I into R, right? Now in order to obtain the formula for V, close this V. V is equal to what? I into R. Simple. Now we want to get the formula for I. Close this I. I is equal to V by R. Now we want to get the formula for R. Close this R. R is equal to V by I. So if you draw this triangle and write V I R, then it is easily you can get the formula. V is equal to I into R, I is equal to V by R is equal to V by I. Okay. Now we were in the process of Ohm's law and we obtained three formulas. V is equal to IR, I is equal to V by R is equal to V by I. Look at the third formula. We have, that is R is equal to V by I. That is resistance is equal to, what is that? Resistance is equal to, V means what? Potential difference. Potential difference divided by I means what? Current or electric current, right? Now, if they ask you the questions, define 1 ohm or when the resistance is said to be 1 ohm. Simple. Just write in place of resistance 1 ohm. When the LHS will become 1, when the RHS, numerator and denominator will also become 1, right? Which means resistance of a conductor is said to be 1 ohms when 1 volt of potential difference is applied at the two ends so that 1 ampere of current is flowing between those two ends. Simple. Resistance is said to be 1 ohm when 1 volt of potential difference is maintained between the two ends of a conductor so that 1 ampere of current is flowing between these two ends. Okay, that is resistance is said to be 1 ohms. Now students, we have discussed Ohm's law, right? Now let us see the circuit for Ohm's law. How exactly the circuit looks like, okay, in order to verify the Ohm's law. Now, as I told you, first draw with respect to the power supply. See here, this is the power supply I have drawn, one battery. Now above it or parallel to it, draw load. Here load is not bulb because in Ohm's law you have three, R, V, I. R means what? Resistance. Resistance itself is load here. So draw the symbol of the resistor. Now see here like this. Okay. After this, when you draw the symbol of the resistor, you know, in order to measure the voltage in the circuit or voltage across the resistor, what should be connected? Voltmeter. How the voltmeter should be connected? Always parallel to the resistor. So voltmeter should be connected always in parallel to the resistor. Now you have connected one voltmeter. Okay. Now how the ammeter is connected to with the resistor? In series. In series you are connecting the ammeter. Okay. Now this is battery. Now after that, here next to the battery you can connect a rheostat. You can connect a rheostat. Now I have connected a rheostat. Now you can complete the circuit here. Now I have connected a rheostat. Okay. Now after the rheostat I can even introduce a plug key. Okay. Then I can finish the circuit. So this is the circuit for Ohm's law. Now this is battery which is in volts. Now this is ammeter in order to measure the electric current. This is plug key. Now this plug key is closed. Closed means current is flowing. Plug key is in closed condition or closed circuit. Okay. Now this is rheostat. Now this is resistance. Now this is voltmeter. Now this is voltmeter. Now how exactly circuit will function, I'll just tell you. Now see here. This is battery, right? This is battery and I have switched on this switch. I have switched on the switch, which means it is closed, current has to flow if I switch on the battery. Now if I switch on the battery, what happens? It will supply the current. Now the current will come here. Now it is flowing in the resistance. Now current is flowing in the resistor, right? Now assume that the battery, the voltage what I have supplied 10 volts. I have supplied, just take example, I have supplied 10 volts. Now 10 volts is supplying some current and that current is flowing through the resistor. Now how much current is flowing through the resistor is recorded by this ammeter. Ammeter is the device used to measure electric current. Now that electric current I is measured by this ammeter. You know the value of R, or R is unknown. We don't know the value of the resistor, unknown resistor. Okay, we know that this is a resistor, but we don't know its value. Think that we don't know its value. Now that value we have to find out. Okay, why? Because V by, according to Ohm's law, V by I is equal to constant. Constant means value should not change, right? That is equal to what? V by I is equal to what? R. This R we don't know. But we can easily find out what is the value of V in voltmeter, what is the value of I using ammeter. Take those two values. Okay, find out the value of R. First reading you got. Now what you have to do, if this rheostat is there, you just vary the rheostat. Okay, to some value. Or else what you do, you just from 10 volts, you increase to 12 volts. You increase to 13 volts. Like that you do. Okay. Or else even you can vary this rheostat also. If you are varying this rheostat also, it will, the value of voltage and current will also be altered. Okay. Now what happens? Take some 3 to 4 readings like that. If you are taking 3 to 4 readings, verify that if you are calculating V by I means voltage or potential difference across this resistor is measured using voltmeter. Take that value of V. Now, whatever the current is flowing in this circuit from positive terminal of the battery and it is coming to the negative terminal, in the process it is flowing in this resistor, right? In this resistor, how much current is flowing? See the reading of the ammeter, because ammeter gives the reading of current. Take that current value. Now find out Ohm's law, that is V by I is equal to R, or R is equal to V by I. Find out. You will get some value, Ohms. Now change this power supply. Voltage value you change, or else you vary this rheostat, so that again this voltmeter will show one more reading, ammeter will show one more reading. Find out. Now that this is first reading is R1. Take that second reading. Okay. Again find out V by I. You get R2. Like that R1, R2, R3. All the readings should be same. All the readings should come or approximately same. Then only you can say that V by I is constant, right? That is, that constant is resistor. Resistance is constant means what? This is a fixed resistor. You cannot change its value. Its value remains unaltered. Okay. That's why in many readings, if you want to take say 3 readings or 4 readings or 5 readings, the value of R should remain constant. Okay. Now this is the circuit and the verification for Ohm's law. Now there is one more thing in this Ohm's law, what we call it as the graph. Now we have the graph in order to, this graph is with respect to voltage and current. Okay, the values what we have got from voltmeter and ammeter, that is potential difference or voltage and current. You have to plot a graph. Okay, when you are plotting the graph, this x-axis is taken potential difference V, that is x-axis represents voltage which is in volts. Okay, now this y-axis represents current, that is I. It is in, what is its unit? It is in ampere. Now when you are plotting all those points, it will, when you join those points, it will be a straight line. It is a straight line, means it's a linear variation. Okay, this is the graph of Ohm's law, which means whatever the value of voltage that you are getting, this corresponding value of current you will get. Here also, whatever value of voltage you are getting, the corresponding value of the current you will get. So that the graph is a linear increase or it is a straight line. Okay, now this is the graph of Ohm's law. Next concept after the Ohm's law and the circuit diagram. Going to the next concept. The concept is factors. Factors on which conductor depends upon. Factors on which resistance of a conductor, factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends. So what are the various factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends? Now, we know the resistance of the conductor. R represents resistance of a conductor. On what factors this resistance of a conductor depends? Now, let me take a cross section of a wire. Okay, you have a wire, right? Copper wire, aluminium wire. So I'll just represent like this. Okay, now this is a cross section of a wire. Now this wire, maybe copper wire or aluminium wire, this wire is having length, right? Now this is cross section of a wire which is having the length. L, small l represents length of the wire. Now this thickness, the wire is also having some thickness, not this big, very small stranded wire, okay? It is also having thickness, right? That thickness I will mention with small a. That thickness is also called as area of cross section, small a, okay? Length is, L is called as length of the conductor, length of the wire, length of the conductor. And this length of the conductor is in meters. It is measured in meters. Now this thickness is also represented by A. That is called as thickness of the conductor or area of cross section. Area of cross section of the conductor. Now that is thickness or area of cross section of the conductor is measured in square meter. Area is measured in square meter or meter square, right? That's unit is meters square. Now, see here. The factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends means this resistance of a conductor, copper wire or aluminium wire or whichever metal it may be, that depends on length of the conductor and area of cross section of the conductor or thickness of the conductor. But how exactly it is dependent? That is the question. Now see here. Resistance of a conductor is directly proportional to the length of the conductor and the resistance of the conductor is inversely proportional to area of cross section of the conductor. Now, when you remove this proportionality sign, we should introduce a constant, that is K into L by A. Okay. Now, directly proportional means numerator, inversely proportional means denominator. Remove this proportionality sign, introduce a constant. Now, this constant is of proportionality, what we call it as this symbol. This symbol is called as rho. This symbol is rho. Okay, just like phi, mu we call like the Greek symbols. This is also a Greek symbol represented by rho. Now this rho is called as resistivity. This rho is called, it has a name called as resistivity, or it is also called as specific resistance. It is also called as specific resistance. Okay. Rho is called resistivity, or it is also called as specific resistance. Now, to substitute rho in place of K, what you will get? R is equal to, so rho L by A. So, this is the main formula of this. The resistance of a conductor is directly proportional to length of the conductor, which means as the length increases, as the length of this conductor increases, 1 meter to 2 meter to 3 meters to 100 meters, resistance also increases. Its resistance also increases. Now see the denominator. If the area of the cross section increases, which means thickness, see here, this is the thickness. If this thickness is increased, 1 mm square, 1 mm square, 10 mm square, 100 mm square. So if it keeps on increasing, if the area is increasing, resistance decreases. Resistance decreases. Why? Because they are inversely proportional. Or else, if the area decreases, vice versa, area decreases means resistance increases. So that is the meaning, okay? So resistance of a conductor is directly proportional to the length of the conductor and it is inversely proportional to the thickness or area of cross section of the conductor. So these are the factors on which the resistance of the conductor depends upon. Now, here you have, now see, you have this formula, R is equal to rho into L by A. Now we have this expression for R, resistance. How about you want to have an expression for rho? Rho is called as what? Resistivity. What is resistivity and or what is specific resistance? I will tell next the definition. But remember that rho is called as resistivity. Now we want the expression for rho, resistivity. What we have to do? Cross multiply it and take that L to the denominator. Therefore, rho is equal to cross multiply R A. This L will come to denominator L. So this is the expression for resistivity rho, that is R into A by L. Now what is the unit of this specific resistance or resistivity? Very simple. See here. See the right hand side quantity is numerator. What is the unit of resistance? Ohms. Multiplication, right? R into A. So into. What is the unit of area? Area of cross section is measured in meter square, right? M square or meter square divided by. What is the unit of length? Standard unit of length, meters. Now 1 meter here gets cancelled. You will get what? Ohm meter. So what is the unit of resistivity or specific resistance? The unit of resistivity or specific resistance is ohm meter. Okay, you can write like this, ohm meter. Okay, now moving further. Now in the same concept, if they ask you, define or when the resistivity is said to be 1 ohm meter, they'll ask like this. Or when the resistivity of a conductor becomes 1 ohm meter, which means, see here, when they give the question like this, just see the formula. You have to have this rho to be 1. What you have to do? The RHS, all these values, if you substitute, you should get 1, which means rho is equal to RA by L. You have to have the resistivity to be equal to 1 ohm meter, which means resistivity is said to be 1 ohm meter if the resistance is 1 ohm and the area of cross section of the conductor, that is the wire, the area of cross section of the thickness is 1 meter square. Also, the length of the conductor is said to be 1 meter. Right? The resistivity is said to be 1 ohm if the conductor is having a resistance of 1 ohm with the length equal to 1 meter and its area of cross section is equal to 1 meter square. Only then the resistivity is said to be 1 ohm meter. Okay.